Larry Groce here. MountainStage.org is where you can hear the show if it's not on your public radio station. And one of our guests on today's show is Mr. Raul Midon, who's been with us before. He's got a brand new record called Synthesis, and it's not brand new, but it's been out since 2009, and we're talking in 2010, so it's not that old. It's his most recent record. He is a wonderful guitar player and a wonderful singer and songwriter. And I guess, well, what I read was your dad was from Argentina.
Yes.
And so, but you were born in the United States?
Yes, I was born in New Mexico.
And you grew up here, and as you're blind. You have been blind because of a horrible situation in incubator because you were premature.
Yeah.
And there were apparently a lot of people blinded in the same way.
In that generation, yeah.
Which is too bad, but you certainly have made your mark on music. And what I read was that your dad was a dancer and had an interesting record collection. So you heard a lot of different kinds of music as a kid.
Yeah, and I really credit that with sort of showing me what's possible. I mean, we had everything from the Beatles to, you know, Stockhausen, or, you know.
Which is pretty wide range.
Yeah, I mean, we had, you know, these weird John Cage records, and then he had, you know, sort of more, and also a lot of Argentine folk music, which for me was a big influence when I was a little kid. I really enjoyed that.
Making my way toward my redemption. This prison is of my own invention. What will it take to capture my attention? Love will help part the sea.
Rhythm has always been important to me. The first instrument I ever played was, you know, sort of hand percussion, bongos and congas and stuff. We used to play all the time. My dad and I would sit and just play rhythms all day. So it was very important.
And you still do a thing where one hand is doing chords with your left hand and your right hand's playing a drum.
Yeah, I decided to do that today since the drums were there. Yeah, I actually did that because I was on tour. I just started doing that recently. I was on tour and I had lost my voice and I couldn't sing, and I said, I got to do something. So I just started playing with one hand and playing guitar with one hand and bongos with the other.
I tried to call you on the phone. It seems like a year since we've been on our own. Even time can't take you from my mind. It would be so nice to see you. I'll tell you what we'll find. We'll find love moment to moment. We'll find love moment to moment. We'll find love moment to moment. Yeah. If I get through, I'll see you on the other side. Yeah. See you on the other side.
Well, this new record is produced by Larry Klein. And where did you do it, in Los Angeles?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I figured. And of course, you know Larry Klein for many reasons, starting out as a great player himself and then producing Joni Mitchell and her great jazz pop sound. How did you get together with him?
He was mentioned by my manager, and I said, well, I'd love to work with him. I mean, he's sort of in that, I put him in that league of producers like Arif that are, you know, musicians and also, you know, musical, and they play, and, you know, just, I always want to work with somebody that I can relate to as a musician. And so he was sort of, I guess my manager emailed him, and he said, oh, you don't even have to sell me on Raul's talent. I'd love to work with him. So that's kind of how we got together.
That's great.
And then I met him. He was in New York, and I went to his hotel room and just to see if we would how we would mesh together, and it was cool. And then after that, we were sure that we wanted to work together. So.
Well, just give me a rundown of how you put this record together, how you got the material and so forth. Tell us how it all came about.
I mean, I'm always writing, and so I had been writing songs with the difference that I have a studio now in my house, so I'm able to sort of not just write the songs, but start to shape them in different ways, and so in a way, I was more prepared than ever when I met Larry, and
So you can experiment in your own place.
absolutely, and sort of mess around with things and put things in different places. And then it was the first time that I'd really co-written with my producer. We co-wrote songs. And I was a little worried about that at first, and I was like, well, what's he gonna, he wants to do this, and turns out he's really pretty amazing writer. So we kind of co-wrote stuff, and it was fun. And I was able to sort of, I think it helped me as a songwriter, actually, working with him.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there is a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. It's a crying shame to lose the game as a prisoner in a picture frame made for you and me. If only we could see the invisible chains, invisible chains. Why do we
I went to school at University of Miami, and I worked. After that, I worked in the studios for years, maybe longer than I should have.
As a background singer.
As a background singer. And I think sort of the end of that was I was in Shakira's band for a couple of years, playing guitar and singing. And I really, at that point, realized that I wanted to do my own thing. And I realized also that I could travel, and that I could find a way to travel, because I had never really traveled before. I was the studio guy.
Yeah.
And as a blind person, there's some special things that you need to take care of when you travel, obviously. Yeah. So I was involved in a songwriters circle with Warner Chappell, in which they would bring in songwriters, and we would do songwriters in the round type thing. And I did one right after September 11th, and I'll never forget, the guy said, "You're great, and my wife was there. My wife said, "Yeah, well, if he's so great, how come you don't sign him?"
Good for her.
Yeah, she just came right out. And the next day, we got an offer from Warner Chappell, and I signed with them. And the thing about that was it gave us the money. And at that point, I was like, now we got to move to New York.
Yeah, so you could make the break and try your own thing.
Exactly.
I find love moment to moment. I find love moment to moment. I find love moment to moment. Yeah. Well, if I get through, I see you on the other side. Yeah. Well, if I get through, I'll see you on the other, see you on the other side. If I get through, I'll see you on the other side.
Well, thanks very much. Raul Midon will be with us. Mountainstage.org is where you can hear the show, and your website is?
RaulMidon.com.
Couldn't be easier than that. Here's the CD. Synthesis is the name of it, and it is a great one. Check it out, or any of them. Take your pick of Raul Midon CDs. Thanks for being with us again.
Thank you for having me.